Hi, I'm Sharon. Welcome to my theory tuition series where we're working together step by step through each of the ABRSM theory grades. There are loads of resources available to help you on my website. If you visit sharonbill.com, you'll find some free PDF information sheets and you can download those in US letter or A4 and they accompany each step of this series. You'll find a page there with links to all of my YouTube video tutorials, and you can also find information about the books that I have available. I've written an exam technique guide full of hints and tips on how to best prepare for your exam. It's called How to Take Your ABRSM Music Theory Exam, and you'll find all sorts of clues on how to best approach the forthcoming exam date. So if you go to sharonbill.com, you'll find it all there. If you can give me a like, that would be super, and please do subscribe to my channel to keep updated. And so now we're going to move on to question 3 of the 2015 paper B. So if you turn with me to page 11 and we'll make a start on this question. And as I always say, have a crack at this yourself first of all. Doesn't matter if you go wrong, always write in pencil. I use a mechanical pencil so it stays nice and sharp, and then you've always got your eraser to hand and you can just rub out any mistakes, and you'll learn it much more thoroughly that way than just by passively copying through the answers. And so the first part of this question, all of which refers back to this little extract here, we have some musical performance directions. We've got some French musical terms. Remember, all of these can be anything from grade 1, 2, 3, 4 or 5, so there's a fair amount of revision to go in there. I suggest you group these thematically throughout all your grades, colour code them or whatever helps you to just get to grips with these. However, from 2018 onwards, the newly revised exam paper will present these in multiple choice format, but I would just go ahead and give these their full definitions because it's an excellent revision tool. So dolce, I think we first came across that in grade 1, so that's a while ago, and that means sweetly, or I guess you could say gently. So here tristamento is sadly. That's our French one there, now added in, and we also have some German choice as well in grade 5. Just generally speaking. So we could also call that sorrowful, I guess. Here we go. And then the SF, I think that came in at grade 2 or grade 3, just off the top of my head. That means forced or accented. So that's that question completed. So moving on, we're asked to rewrite the last left-hand chord of the extract. So that would be this bottom stave. Even though it's in treble clef, that would be your left hand playing this. But we need to change it so it stays at the same pitch. So be careful of your octaves, but we need to change clef to the tenor clef. So let's get our clef in. So this is the one that's higher up. It's a bit of a double bar line. Here's our middle C here, that's our anchor point, so we'll just work the clef around that, and then we need to add in the key signature. So the key signature is 4 flats, so we want C, B flats, E flats, A flats, C, B and D flats. So there's our key signatures. Being careful where to place those, it's easy to go wrong. Especially if you're not familiar with that clef. And so now we need to think about where to place this. So be careful and always keep middle C as your anchor point. And we've got a middle C and then 1, 2, 3 above it, the E above it. So here's our middle C. So that's easy peasy. And then 1, 2, 3, C, D, E, the note above it. However, of course, our stems are going to have to come down now because in this new clef, it's above the middle line. So we change the stems there. So keeping this page to hand, but turning over, we're going to have to keep referring to this. So we'll have to keep turning over. We need to describe the chords of this extract, marked X, Y, as 1, 2, or 4 or 5. and then we need to just describe what position that's in, whether it's root or inversion. We're told that the key is F minor. So before we go looking, let's just work out what our chords will be constructed of. So we need to be looking at chords 1, 2, 4 and 5. If we're in F minor, chord 1 is based on the F. Chord 2 is G, A, B. Of course we'll have flats and things going on here, but your key signature will take care of that. And then C. So first, third, fifth, F, A, C. If you find that difficult to do, just use your piano keyboard sketch. It doesn't have to be a work of art. First, second, third, fourth, fifth, F, A, C. So G, B, D, B, D, F, C, E, G. The only thing to watch out for, don't forget, in a minor key we have to beware to raise the 7th. So it always comes in the middle of chord 5. So that E flat must be raised to an E natural there. So that's the thing to be looking out for. That might just help us find an answer quickly. So if you think about it, F, G, A, B, C, D, E is the 7th, and it always falls in the middle of chord 5. So we need to describe chord X in bar 3. So let's just turn over the page and let's see what we've got. So here we have a massive clue. We've got an E natural, so straight away I can pretty much guess that's going to be a chord 5. We've got a G, C, E, so that fits the notes of C, E, G. G is at the bass, and so let's just turn over and look at that. We've got a G, E, C, G is the bass, so it's a chord 5, C. Don't forget, if you want to just sketch that there's your root position, which is A, B, C. So we can see that the G is in the bass, so we're in C position, second inversion. So let's look now at bar 4 for chord Y. So skipping back, here we have an A, a C and an F. I know that they will be flats, but your key signature deals with all of that. So we know that chord 1 is F, A, C. So it's a chord 1, but because there's an A in the bass, that's a 1B. Let's just look at that. So we can see F, A, C with an A in the bass is a 1B. So that answers that one nicely. And now we need to give the technical names of the 2 notes in the left hand. They've marked the score A and B. Remember, we're in F minor, so before we go looking for that, let's just map out what we're going to be looking for. So I'm going to just write out the steps of this scale. Don't worry about your accidentals or key signature, it's all dealt with in the music. So F is the first, so moving on, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we know now which degrees of the scale. Alternatively, you can just count when you come to the note on the score. So let's look at bar 2 and find note A. So here we have a note C. If we count up from F, 1, 2, don't forget always to count number 1, because that's the first degree of the scale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. C is a 5th, and we can double check that. You can see that C is the 5th. So I'm just going to sketch that there for the moment, and we'll think about the technical names in a second. So let's turn to bar 4. And we want note B. So if we count, remember you're in the treble clef in the left hand, 2. So 1, 2, 3, F, G, A. So that's a 3rd. And we can see that A is a 3rd, and so now we just need to give them their technical names. So we know that the 5th is the dominant because it dominates the key, that's why it's called that. And then the 3rd is the mediant because it's in the middle. Think about your averages between the tonic and the dominant, so that's the mediant. The 3rd is the mediant. There we go. Let's press on. So now we're asked to write as a breve or a double whole note an enharmonic equivalent of the right hand note of bar 2. So let's, it's marked with an arrow, so let's find that. So we've just got to make sure we keep our octave correct and don't end up jumping octaves. So here we have an A flat. Remember your key signature, we're quite high up, so we're not the A above middle C, we're the A above that. A flat, and let's just look at that. So A flat can also be called G sharp, and so we'll use that as our enharmonic equivalent. That's a mouthful. So if it's this A here, A flat, the G sharp will be here. So we need to make that into our breve or double whole note and then sharpen it. And that's our answer there. So then, the key is F minor, we've been told, but apparently it changes key, it modulates, so we need to now say what key does it end in. So let's see what clues that we've got here. So we're looking towards the end of the music, and so we've got a key signature at the moment of B flats, E flats, A flats and D flats. So the D flat has been cancelled by a natural, so that's now a key signature of just 3 flats. However, we've also got a natural here. Now then, it's not possible to have a key signature of E flats and A flats without a B flat. So there must still be a B flat in the key signature. So we must have a key signature of B flats, E flats, A flats. And so we need to know how to explain the B natural in terms of the key, even though it's present in the key signature. The D flat, we can just now chop off the end of the key signature because it's quite okay to have just B flats, E flats, A flats. So we've got a key signature of 3 flats, and we need to describe why we have this B natural. And the only other way of describing that, if it's not part of your key signature, is to consider it might be a raised 7th. And if B is the 7th, C is the 8th, and C minor has a key signature of B flats, E flats, A flats. If you've done your circle of fifths, I would always do that first. We can see that C minor has a key signature of 3 flats, and then we have the raised 7th, and that would explain the accidental. And so we can see quite clearly here that we're in C minor. So that's the answer to that question. So C minor. If you've done all your thinking of your key signatures beforehand as your circle of fifths, that really helps. It just sort of helps to take all the pressure off thinking on the spot. If you're not sure how to quickly write out that key signature, mix of major and minor, progressing through your circle of fifths, there's a video tutorial that I've done on that, and you'll find the link to that in the description below in the box and also in the cards. So that's that one. So now we've just got a few general orchestral questions. So we need to name a standard orchestral woodwind instrument that could play the opening phrase of the right hand, marked with this bracket so it sounds at the same pitch. So we need to find a woodwind instrument that can play quite comfortably in this high register. And so the options for those treble woodwind instruments would be the flute, or the oboe, or the clarinet could play that. Although it's a transposing instrument, it could play it at that pitch if it was needed to. It can play high, that's what the question's asking. So now we need to name a different family of orchestral instruments, and we need to state its lowest sounding member. So we can't choose woodwind, so if we're going to choose strings, then the lowest instrument would be the double bass. If you were going to choose brass, the lowest instrument is the tuba. Or I guess you could say bass tuba, but tuba is the standard. Either one of those would do. So either one of those questions would do, depending which family of instruments you've chosen. And then here, we're asked to say if this is a true or false statement. Is it true or false that a trumpeter might be asked to play pizzicato? So you need to know what pizzicato means, of course. Pizzicato means to pluck the strings, and of course it's not possible for a trumpeter to do that because a trumpet is blown, it does not have strings, and so that's false. That would be a string term there. So that's the end of that question. I do hope that you found that helpful. I hope that it's of benefit to your studies. I also hope that you're enjoying it. I certainly am enjoying working through it with you. If you can give me a like, that would be super, and please do subscribe to my channel to keep updated. Please also do visit sharonbill.com and make use of all of the resource and information that's available to help you there. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Bye.